Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Creator Aspect. Here we have Icy.
Yay.
Welcome to the podcast. Welcome.
Our fifth Kozo S&P member on the
Oh my!
podcast.
Wow, really? You
Yeah,
guys really,
How have you
really
been?
target the same people.
How have you been keeping track of that, Tiny? I didn't even know that was the fifth. I
it's
didn't.
it's easy. We talk about Kozo S&P most of the time.
Oh my
Hopefully
god.
not this time.
Very
Hopefully not.
relevant.
Oh my god.
I couldn't imagine if that was what you brought me on for.
Kozo
That
SMP
would be
content
funny.
creator. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, I guess we could kind of start this off with a little content creation note, since that's kind of how we started. Why did you decide to end up leave content creation as a whole? Why did you make that decision?
I wouldn't say it was like I wasn't just like I'm gonna stop. Like I never came to that decision. I kind of like I'm trying to think. Well, I did do YouTube and I did some good YouTube videos, and then I sort of switched over to Twitch streaming when my presence became bigger on Twitter. And I think I sort of stopped Twitch streaming because I guess it was sort of because I started to do like graphic design work in the community.
Yeah.
So I had less time and I enjoyed graphic design a lot more, I think.
Nice. So you kind of just eased out of like streaming and making YouTube videos as like you started like designing more things for
Yeah.
Twitter?
Yeah, and I think
Nice.
a lot of people still like considered me a content creator just because like
Yeah.
I'm in the community and I've got a lot of friends that do that, and like even like around the time I stopped doing it, that was like when I first joined Life SMP. So I was in this SMP with tons of large creators and Twitch streamers,
Yeah.
but I never like made any content on it. I think I only streamed
Uh,
once and that was it.
Okay, for the people that don't know what Life SMP is, what is it? Like what's
Oh yeah.
the premise?
Well, let's think. Okay. So there was SMP on air, which was pretty huge and started the meta of like big trending SMPs. And
yeah.
then when that crashed, Life SMP was created. And it was created by the same dev of SMP on air. And then it was kind of just like the same thing, I guess, just reborn.
Oh, cool.
Just
Yep.
SMP on Air Reborn. Very nice.
Yeah, yeah.
How do you think you got all of those connections that you have today in the community?
That's actually a good question, because I've never, huh. Well, I've been like on Twitter for around 2 years, maybe a little more than that or less. But
Yeah.
I think it was just like, huh, I don't know. I think it was just like replying to people and talking to people, and people started to recognize my name. And as I started to like build more of a personality and like create my own things, I guess people started to recognize me more. I mean, I could not pinpoint that directly, but yeah.
Yeah, because it just seems like you know everyone. Like I meet someone random on Twitter and they're like, "Oh, you're mutuals with Icy." I'm like, "How do you know Icy?" Yeah, how do you know Icy? Hold on. Like you're just kind of everywhere at this point.
Yeah, it's weird. I think a lot of it started, I guess I would call this my peak, but I didn't make nearly as much like success off of it, but last year in the summer, I made logos and graphic design stuff for like every single Minecraft event and server and SMP that you can think of.
Yeah.
And I think that like really like put my name in the community. Um, and there's actually a meme that someone made last year. I remember it. It's like the Spider-Man meme format, and it's like everywhere I go, I see his
Oh
face.
no.
But instead of Tony Stark, it's me. I mean, it's true. It's true. Like there was
Of
a
course.
time last year in the summer that like literally everywhere you went, it would be something made by
Oh
me.
yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, like your graphics, I could be on Twitter and then I just see them everywhere. Like some random some random event or like some random person follows me, and it's just like PFP created by Icy, banner created by Icy. I'm like, oh, look at that, it's Icy. Back at it
Yeah,
again.
I mean, I didn't really think it would go down that way, and I never really intended it to, but
Hmm.
it's still weird seeing things like that. Like I saw
Yeah.
someone literally made an article about a Minecraft event or about Minecraft events, and
Oh.
two of the Minecraft events they were talking about just had one of my logos. It
Nice.
was it's just so weird.
Yeah. Um, you have been just doing like basically most of the designs you've done are for people related to or like in the Minecraft community, or at least like
Yeah.
your public designs on Twitter. Do you
Mm-hmm.
think could you see yourself in the future, maybe in the next like year or two, moving towards designing for a different community instead of the Minecraft one?
That's a good question. Well, I do a lot of stuff outside of it. Like I do merch design and I do a lot of poster designs, but I post that on Instagram with like a more a
Uh,
more localized different name. But
gotcha.
I'm nowhere near as large on there, and I think my success overall is from here.
Yeah.
I think if I were to move forward or move on to something else, it would be more like general like Twitch streaming or like game development or something like that.
Hmm.
But I mean I think a majority of my stuff will always be in this Minecraft community.
Nice.
I've seen you started doing animations. Are you like gonna keep doing those?
Oh
Oh
yeah, the
yeah.
little intros.
I don't know. I mean, I kind of just picked that up because I think Bitzel sort of started it. And I thought it was cool for YouTube videos. It's not something like I plan on doing professionally or like at
Hmm.
all, but I definitely use it if I get back into content creation, I
Yeah.
think. And I've used it, I mean, I used it practically in one of the events I was working on where we made like how NCC announces their teams with profile pictures. We
Yeah.
did that, except we animate people and add their
Oh,
skins. Yeah.
that's cool.
So, I mean, it's cool. It's helped me like create a new format for announcing teams for things, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've seen like I saw like the Mystic intro. I'm like, I thought you were a graphic designer. I'm like, when
Yeah.
when did you start doing animations? I'm like, this is insane.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've always had a lot of interest in animations, like
Hmm.
sort of where I started. I used to do like just hand drawings and do a lot of
Yeah.
animation, and I sort of have learned some techniques like from very young. I used to just like watch videos of people animating, and it
Yeah.
was really random. Um, but I mean, I guess it helped later on. So
Hmm.
yeah.
Oh, are you good at drawing?
Uh, I mean, I would say I am decent. I mean, I used to draw like in the traditional sense, but moving more toward what I'm doing now, I think it's
Yeah.
helped me with like core principles. Because some of my stuff is graphic design and some of it is
Hmm.
more like organic and illustrative. So I think it has definitely helped with some things.
Nice.
Oh,
Nice.
how do you think you got good into how do you think you got good at graphic design?
Um, I think it's also similar to the animation thing, just like at an exponential scale. Because I mean I sort of moved into that. Let me think. Okay, so I started doing graphic design on an iPad, and it was horrible, and I was like 8, and then I started watching tons of YouTube videos. I mean, there was like times where I would spend like 20 hours a week just watching YouTube videos about graphic design. Um, and it really like I was like so obsessed with it. And then I got a laptop and got my first graphic design program on there, and then I just sort of like I used to be really bad, and there's like a huge curve of like it really changed all at once when I went from a bad graphic designer to actually being pretty good, and that was just because I started trying more. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I knew everything. I knew all the core principles, but I didn't actually try to be a good graphic designer, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you just brought back like a massive memory for me. How I ended up getting into graphic design is on like Instagram when I was like 12. Like my
Oh
sister
yeah.
or like someone wanted me to make them like a PF, like a new PFP. So I just downloaded this random app and I just started doing graphic design like on my iPhone, just like on an iPhone 5, and just making a bunch of PFPs on Instagram for friends and family. And then I eventually, whenever I got my computer, I moved onto the computer and I've been doing it on here ever since. So I was like, hold on a second. You
Yeah, I
also
mean,
you start on an iPad?
yeah, yeah. I mean it's a great tool that you can really use to start a lot
Yeah.
of careers, especially for children when
Hmm.
it's easier to use in that sense.
Yeah.
Um and I still look back at the things that I made on there, and some of them were really good for how limited I was.
Oh yeah.
Um so yeah, I mean, I guess it pushes you more to be for to be skillful rather than
Yeah.
rely on all these resources.
Hmm. But yeah, also, do you think the experience that you have had since like you've gotten a lot of commissions since you have started doing graphic design, you've designed for all these events, all these people. Do you think that experience has also really helped you to become a like much better designer today?
Oh, definitely. I mean, if you just look at like some of my first stuff, which it's actually funny because one event that still uses my stuff is like one of the first things I made in the community as a commission, and just in comparison, it's so horrible. Like you can really see the curve of where I started to get a lot better, and I used to like with my main stuff where I made the sort of 3D Minecrafty stuff. I used to literally tweet out my process and talk about what I did to improve it from last time.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I mean, I actually miss that because like I've hit a point where there's not much more I can do to improve on those things, and I sort
Hmm.
of have to move outward.
Yeah.
But that was definitely a very fun time, and I think being in the community and doing all
Yeah.
these public jobs has helped me improve a lot.
Do you think you will continue to be like a freelance designer, or do you think you'll like partner up with like a graphic design company or like a creative company of sorts and
Hmm.
work for them?
Well, I've definitely had to think about this a lot lately. Um, I haven't had my commissions open for
Yeah.
like 2 months just because it's
Hmm.
been so incredibly overwhelming.
Oh
And
yeah.
part of that is because I'm starting to move out of like freelance on my own and start to like work with teams.
Hmm.
Um, like I think I'm working with like two or three studios right now. Um,
Nice.
so I mean, I don't have to worry about trying to get the work, even though I know I can. And it's a lot less stress because it's you don't have to talk to like 10 different clients. It's just
Yeah.
one boss that you have to talk to. Definitely, I don't think I would go to a graphic design agency.
Hmm.
Um, just because I think like I feel like I could use my skills a lot better in a place where it's needed rather than a place where like 10 graphic designers are combining their skills all together to make one logo. It's
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
I still have that freelancer mindset. I would just rather be in a team that needs one graphic designer.
Hmm.
All right. Where do you see yourself in the future?
Um, that kind of sort of ties into what I was saying just a moment ago. I think definitely uh currently and in the near future I'll be working more privately with studios in Minecraft networks, and I think in the more distant future I could see myself being in like a more professional studio or working with something like Nox Crew or
Hmm.
something big like that, definitely. I think I would enjoy, and I still get to be a part of the community that has Minecraft and has my favorite game in it as well.
Yeah. Um, what is your advice to like newer people to Twitter, like freelancers, kind of like what you've been doing that are trying to get commissions, but are like not as lucky? What is like kind of your advice to newer freelancers on getting commissions?
Okay, that's that's a really good question because this is something like I've gotten some people asking me this, and it's something like I want to put in a more central place so people
Yeah.
know, because this really helped me. And first of all, you have to accept that a lot of it isn't about luck. And second of all, you don't have to be a professional to start making money. Like
Hmm.
I was trash when I started, and my work got better over time. But I think the key thing is you need to find your niche. Like my
Yeah.
niche that really got me out there was I made these logos that looked like the Minecraft title, um, but they could say anything you wanted. And then you have to expand it. Like, I'm not making two different Minecraft titles for two different events and they don't look exactly the same. You have to make them look different and you have to improve upon it every single time. So
Yeah.
people are always wanting to get the latest version of it. They want to get the more improved version of it. And
Yeah.
then as you improve over time, it keeps other people from copying you because yours will always be authentic and yours will be seen as the original. And that's
Hmm.
one problem I've seen a lot lately. Like I haven't done the titles a lot, but now I'm seeing people do the same exact thing and it looks all the same. Um and it kind of just ruins the market. It like you could buy from anyone and you wouldn't be able to tell who made it.
Yeah.
Um but I think definitely you need to find something authentic and you need to show why yours is authentic and can be cooler than others because it stands out more, and it's all about marketing yourself. And really, you don't have to undersell yourself either. Like when
Yeah.
I first started, I charged like I think $10 to $15 for that sort of title stuff. And then just as you get better, just like move up $5. Just tell
Hmm.
someone, "Oh, it's this much," and just hope they say yes. If they
Yeah.
don't say yes, then they can go and you'll get someone else. I mean,
Hmm.
you gotta be willing to accept that someone won't pay your price.
I don't know if this is exactly public. In your like Twitter bio, I
Yeah.
noticed that it says creative director. Who are you a creative director for?
That is a good question.
Mhm.
Some of it is private, some of it is not, but I guess I can speak more generally. I have worked on like uh okay, what I'm trying to think about what I can say. I have worked on some things for Minecraft networks, sort of creative directing a certain aspect of it, in directing like the direct like just keeping a one creative direction and making sure it goes that way, and then I have artists and designers under me that are actually doing that and like creating the direction, if that makes sense. um and I think
Yeah.
I've done that in the past. I
Hmm.
definitely helped some with like the creative direction in the Squid Game event, but
Yeah.
that was a very small team and we sort of all played a part in that. But I think it really got me into sort of that area of not just having the graphic design in mind, but like the
Hmm.
whole direction.
Yeah.
Um, And yeah, I'm working on a few other things in that area, but I
Mhm.
cannot say anything. So
Do you plan on going to like college for any of this? And if so, what do you think you will hone in on? Will you hone in more on like marketing, like the marketing side of things? Will you hone in more like graphic design, like the more arts side of thing? What's your plan with all that?
um, I think it'll really depend on where I am when I turn 18.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would hope that I would be like pretty far along, especially considering how early I've started. But
Yeah.
I mean, my goals may have changed, and a lot of companies do require a degree in graphic design, even if you're very skilled. So maybe I'd go like briefly just to get like a graphic design degree. Um
Yeah.
and if I decided that what I'm doing at the time is not what I want to do, and I just wanted to go to college for something, I think I'd probably do like marketing, like general business and administration and all that stuff, and then graphic design definitely. Because I mean, then I can sort of have knowledge in general of just having a startup business. Um, and I
Yeah.
think that could be really beneficial to work with small companies like that.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
okay, so I heard you bought a car when you were 14. I don't know
Yeah.
how old you are right now. It was a while ago.
Mm.
How'd that all happen?
Well, I'm first of all, I'm 15 now. And I think I bought that it was like 3 or 4 months ago, I think. Um, I mean, I think in a way it kind of helped my improvement of graphic design and like my growth in the community a
Mm-hmm.
lot. Around October, maybe actually around July of last year, I just decided that I wanted to buy a car before I turned 15, and I just set that as a goal. Um, and I made a little whiteboard that like showed like I would mark down every time I made another $100.
Nice.
So I was very motivated and set on getting it before I turned 15, and I did everything I could, and in some ways I didn't spend my time as wisely working on
Mm-hmm.
like very cheap commissions,
Gotcha.
but I think it was very beneficial overall, and it was a great learning experience with like how it can actually benefit me in the real world, and
Mm-hmm.
like just if I set my mind to it, then I could get it. It was very cool.
Are you able to drive yet, or are you still trying to get your license?
I'm not able to drive yet.
Uh,
I think I'm getting my permit sometime in the next few weeks, which will be good.
nice.
Um, but I still have to like register the car and all that, which will be fun. And then I have
Yeah.
to actually pay for the insurance, which I don't know. We'll
Oh
see.
no.
We'll see when I start driving it. We
Yeah.
will. Yeah.
Don't
That
worry.
sounds complicated.
Yeah. I'm about to turn like 16 in a month and I've still yet to get my permit even though I've been able to get it for like a year. So, my parents aren't the happiest, but, I can wait.
Well,
I can wait.
we move on. We move on. We
Yeah,
move on.
yeah. I saw on Twitter whenever Ninja came out with the brand new branding. I
Oh
think you know where
boy.
this is going.
Yeah.
You you posted an entire like thread on the whole Ninja logo thing. What do you think exactly for like different content creators or like companies even out there knowing what to do and what not to do with branding? What do you think was exactly wrong with Ninja's logo?
Okay. Well, first of all, I'm just looking at this on my second monitor right now, and I just want to point out visually what's wrong with it.
Yeah.
First of all, the text, the weights are different. So it
Hmm.
looks like there's significance with the I and the J, when in
Yeah.
reality there's no significance with the I and the J, and when you scale it up or down, it will be very confusing.
Hmm.
Um And second of all, the A is the only lowercase letter, but it's the same size as all of the other letters, which
Yeah.
makes no sense. Um, and then moving on to the icon. The icon's pretty scalable. If you get rid of the weird slit that's in the bottom, it just
Mhm.
doesn't make sense. And then I mean, the icon is good. I like it.
Mhm.
As far as recognizability, that's a whole separate thing. Um,
Oh, yeah.
but one thing I never even noticed that someone pointed out is that the icon is not just straight lines. It's not just angles. It's
Yeah.
curved. It's very subtly curved in a way that makes it so awkward and unnecessary. And I hate it so much. Every time I look at it, it's horrible. Um,
Mhm.
but as far as the rebrand itself, like why he rebranded,
Yeah.
I understand it. Like he's moving in a different direction away
Mhm.
from content creation. But I don't think it's as recognizable. It's only recognizable to the people that saw his rebrand, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Whereas like if I'm a new random person that's never heard of Ninja, uh looking at his old logo, I'm gonna pick it up and it'll be more recognizable to me, definitely.
Yeah. Is there like a company or like a content creator that you think has really solid branding, like something that maybe other content creators slash companies should like look for in a good logo when trying to rebrand?
That's a hmm. I mean, I can't think of many content creators that even have like a brand. It's only
Yeah.
like the large people that play all
Hmm.
the FPSs and Fortnite and all that. Um I can't actually think of a company that's done a rebrand recently that was very successful. Um
Do you
yeah,
think
I don't
going
know.
simpler is better? Because that's what every brand is doing now, just like making their logos simplified.
Um I think it depends. Like it depends how simple your logo
Yeah.
already is. And sometimes you might recognize that you went a little too simple and you might have to back off on that. And I mean, that's not a problem. Um, but when it becomes such a problem that it's unrecognizable when scaled down, or it can be easily compared to a different logo, similar
Yeah.
to how Ninja's logo looks like the Twitch Prime logo, that's when it becomes a problem. When you're losing features like his is supposed to be hair, but he sacrificed the actual bandana for simplicity.
Yeah.
That's the problem, I think.
Yeah, because I've noticed this like big thing with a lot of companies over the past few years, and even more recently, probably like the most recent example I can think of is the Discord thing. I mean, Discord's
Yeah.
wasn't too bad. Like the like kind of like a trend for designers of minimalism and like minimizing their logos and cutting a lot out. I mean, with some of them, I think they do look better, but with some others, it depends. Why do you think the minimalism trend in terms of like designing has kicked off as much as it has?
Um, I think I think it's kind of taking us into a new realm of just modernness,
Yeah.
and we're definitely starting to move away from that a lot more.
Hmm.
Definitely in the 2010s was like the peak of it.
Oh yeah.
Um, with like Windows 10 and all of that, we're trying to get to this more area of just modern, clean everything. If it's simple and
Hmm.
clean, then you can get to the point and get the idea.
Yeah.
And to an extent that it makes it so corporate and like so bland and unhappy, I think we're starting to move away from that a lot more. Um, and I actually saw this thing. There was this architect that was researching graphic design trends, and I'll have to look at it exactly sometime, but I forget. But it's
Hmm.
like every every 30 or 40 years, what becomes the new trend is what was the trend 40 years ago, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So like we're starting to to get into this new style when in reality it was an old style, but we're just recreating the style in a better way.
Yeah.
And I think we're gonna definitely move away from the modern stuff. But as you were saying about like some that do take the simplicity well, I do
Mhm.
agree. I think I really like Discords, and I think it displays it in the proper way as a
Yeah,
gaming
totally.
controller. But I don't. I hate their font though. Their font is
Oh yeah,
horrible.
that I was like, okay, listen. I like the
Yeah.
new icon, not the biggest fan of the font. Not the
Yeah,
biggest.
maybe it's because
Yeah.
the it's just squished, I feel.
A little
I
bit,
don't
yeah,
know,
I could see
man.
that.
It's just a little whack, just a little whack.
Just
But
a little wacky.
overall, it's pretty good, and you really don't see the Discord font that much anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also with most of your like designs are Minecraft oriented, but I have seen some of like fan designs you've made for like 21 Pilots and stuff, and like for someone that does mainly designs for content creators and like the content creation community, your like designs for stuff like that actually look very solid. How did you like get experience like with those? Has it just been fan
Um,
designs, or have you actually done separate commissions for designs more like the ones that you made?
well, actually, I'm glad you brought that up because I kind of started I mean, I forget about this a lot, which is weird, but I started in professional graphic design discords. Like I used to be in like 10 different discords that were centered around graphic design, and I've met some very solid graphic designers. And some are in there that have even made graphic designs for creators in this community. And this was like around 3 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, and I did do a lot of work on there. So it wasn't centered around Minecraft. I
Yeah,
really started out making things not centered around Minecraft, and
nice.
then um,
Found
I
your niche,
think
kind of.
yeah, I did find my niche later on, but it is fun to
Yeah,
to expand out and still be able to show that I'm not just this random Minecraft kid and I can like I'm a graphic designer.
yeah,
Um but yeah, I think the first instance where I started that out was actually in that professional graphic design Discord community. Um,
yeah,
and then I definitely started to explore that. I mentioned earlier that I have an Instagram
yeah.
that will not release to this community. But I basically created this Instagram under another name in a more professional brand just to like
Hmm.
see if I could be a general graphic designer. And I think it's helped me like just make tons of random stuff that I've never thought of making.
Nice, yeah. Of course, earlier you mentioned you ended up moving away from YouTube and Twitch,
Yeah.
whenever you started to hone in more on graphic design. Have you ever thought about like maybe returning to YouTube and instead of doing like gaming centered content, doing maybe more like graphic design centered stuff like tutorials, like your process, stuff like that? Have you ever
Um, I
thought?
have I have thought of that briefly, and I have
Yeah.
done some of that on Twitter. Like I've done a few video tutorials, very short, just showing how I do things. Um, like the competitive person in me that, especially in this community when everyone's trying to like copy everyone's, I
Yeah,
feel like I don't want to release it, especially since it's such a niche.
that's fair.
Um, I've thought about it. I mean, definitely at some point when I'm 100% sure that I'm not going to be doing commissions. Um,
Nice.
but yeah, I mean, I have thought about going back to YouTube in general and doing gaming. Um,
Yeah.
I did create a new YouTube channel a few weeks ago under the same name, but just so my algorithms stuff is fresh. And I have thought about making more Minecraft stuff at like a huge, huge quality.
Yeah,
But I just haven't had the time lately.
that's fair.
How did you
That's
get your
fair.
name?
Hmm?
How did you get your name?
Um, let me think. I think it started, I think I went by Icy Bear because that was the only free IGN on Minecraft that was close to Ice Bear, and
Huh.
I was obsessed with that show. Um,
Oh,
yeah, so then some people started calling me just Ice, or some people started calling me Icy. So I think I moved to Ice, and then people still kept calling me Icy. So then I moved to Icy, and then my friends started calling me Iceypoo for some reason. So I moved to that.
Nice.
Um, so yeah, I was kind of
oh,
like just pushed around by my friends until my name became this.
oh. I
I
thought you
see,
were
Pooh.
Icy Poo to match with Mush, because Mush was Mush Poo.
Oh
Mush
no, no,
Poo. I
no,
see,
no.
Pooh.
No, that's funny. Me and Mush actually we first found each other on like a random event Minecraft server, and we were very confused when we had such similar names.
Yeah, of course. Well, yeah, thank you, Icy. We're gonna move into our community questions now. Of course, we send out a tweet every single week before we end up releasing our episodes and asking the creator aspect community for some questions they would like to ask our guest.
Cool.
So yeah, we have a few questions for you this week, Icy. Starting off with Real AJ, who asked, how did you learn your niche? How did you develop your style?
That's a good question. I think the first time I started getting into this Minecrafty stuff,
Mhm.
actually, I think I was looking at this earlier. I'm gonna look at my files because I have it all in one file, but I want to look at the
Nice.
date and look at the oldest. I think okay. So the first thing I made was for a Minecraft server that I plan on making, and it was like literally just the Minecraft font and just said
Oh.
something. Um, and then I saw someone posted like a Minecraft style type of 3D text, but it wasn't really like the Minecraft logo. So I tried to replicate that, and a lot of people thought it was cool. So then I just like absolutely tryharded and started to dig into this more Minecraft thing. And I think once at the point that like could replicate the Minecraft logo, I started to branch out and like
Yeah.
bring in all these techniques I've learned from graphic design and art in general and try and like do different combinations to make it original and different. Like I could make a logo that says icy and I could make it the same color, but I could use 50 different techniques that I've developed so it looks different every time.
Hmm.
And that sort of ties in with what I was talking about earlier. If your work is ever progressing and can always be different, then it really keeps your niche and your style very authentic and recognizable.
all
Nice.
right.
Yeah.
Empty Lies says, "Why are you so bad at Minecraft?"
Um, we move past that one. New next question. Next question.
Oh,
No
Asked
comment. No
you.
comment.
Jimena asked you, when are you going on tour? When is the Iceypoo tour coming
When am
up?
I going on tour?
Yes.
I don't know, man.
Live
Maybe
graphic
I
design
mean,
tour.
I'll definitely go to Minecraft Festival. So like, if you want to see me there or something, then go ahead.
Iceypoo meetup at Minecraft Festival. Let's go.
Yeah. I mean, I'm
Very
like three
nice.
hours away, man. So I'll be there.
Very nice. And then the Milkies asked, why are you blue? Why not red or purple for your main color?
Um, I have no idea, man.
blue is the best color.
I think I
Just
just liked
decided on blue.
blue, and I
Very
used it for
nice.
my original brand, and then I just stuck with blue, I guess.
So how long do you think you've had blue, or is it just like been forever?
I think I started it with when I was in the other graphic design community a few years ago, like 3 or 4 years ago, I think. And then
Nice.
I took that color that was my professional brand color and put it into a
Yeah.
Minecraft skin, and then it just like started to change over time.
Oh,
Very nice.
I thought it was because your name was Icy. I don't think Icy
No,
would match with
well,
red.
that would make
Sure.
sense, but my mind is so dumb. So there you
All right.
go.
Well, that was the last question.
Yeah. Well,
Cool.
thank you, Icy, for coming on Creator Aspect this week. It has
Of
been
course,
an
of course.
absolute
Yay.
pleasure to have you. Thank you,
It was
thank you.
fun. It was very
Yeah.
fun.
Well, yeah. Thank you for coming on. Go check out Icy on. You're on Twitter. What?
Yeah,
Do you
just
have any other socials?
I guess just Twitter, or you can, hold on.
You have
You
like
can go
another design
to,
platform.
yeah, you can go to iceypoo.live and it will show my,
Iceypoo.live. Very
yeah, it will
nice.
show my portfolio and my Twitter and stuff.
That's on Behance, right?
Yeah.
Thought so. All right. Well, thank you, Icy, for coming on. Thank you everyone for tuning in this week. And we'll be back next week. All right. See ya. Thank you for
Yay.
watching.
Goodbye.
Bye.